heading into the draft, there were really four can't-miss prospects in my opinion. It was Kyler Murray, Nick Bosa, Quinnen Williams, and then Josh Allen. Josh Allen ended up falling a little bit, but the other three went 1, 2, and 3, and so when the first overall pick wins Offensive Rookie of the Year, and the second overall pick wins Defensive Rookie of the Year, there's certainly high expectations for the third overall pick. However, Quinnen Williams, it's been an up and down year, I would say. I definitely am not going to say that he was bad by any means, and one thing I do think needs to be mentioned is that defensive tackles historically just take a longer time to develop than other positions. I mean, quarterback does as well, but Kyler Murray was an anomaly. That doesn't happen too often. For the most part, a defensive tackle is going to take a couple of years to really get into the NFL thing. Oftentimes, it's their third year that you really want to look at. I mean, you could take a look at Vita Vea from last year, who was, his rookie season, he was considered a bust by many, and now his second season, he's maybe the best, just pure zero technique nose tackle in the NFL. So New York knew that they were going to be waiting a little bit before Williams was able to really fully reach his potential. They were okay with that. They knew they probably weren't going to make the playoffs last year, and if they did, it wouldn't be a deep playoff run most likely, but I think Quinnen Williams definitely at times showed flashes that he can be very good. I think this play is an interesting one where what's going to happen is that it's going to be play action, and so for Miami to help sell the play action, they're going to have their center move over to block Williams, and then their left guard move over to block a different interior lineman. They're getting a little bit creative. Honestly, they're probably outsmarting themselves a little bit, but watch what happens right when this ball is snapped. Williams gets to the inside like that, and at this point, for one thing, the center and left guard have ran into each other, so this makes things a little bit easier for Williams. So probably the highlight of this play is actually the low light of Miami's offensive line, but at the same time, Williams is going to do a good job of quickly getting over there and getting to Ryan Fitzpatrick for a sack. It was good quickness that little hiccup that Miami had, that was all they needed, and Williams was able to run over and get a sack. So, guys are going to make mistakes. It's up to good players to take advantage of those mistakes. Williams was able to take advantage of that mistake. Again, nothing spectacular by any means. It was more so a mistake by Miami than anything else. But still, a little flash there to show, okay, this guy's, at least, he was quick on that play. That's good to see. Now, in fairness, there were some negatives. Like, on this play, what's going to happen is that Williams is going to be going up one-on-one against the center here, but his job is actually not really to just try to beat the center. His job is to get the center to move to the left side of the screen. So as you see, have him go down like that, the center moves over, and then what he can do is basically they can have another jet run over in that direction. Hopefully he'll get a straight shot to Fitzpatrick. And so that's the way this play is designed to work. So you see Williams runs in, but he gets pushed way too far over to where the guard is, which is not what he wants to be doing here. Basically, he wants to force the center to have to move over to the left side of the screen. But here, that center can easily get off now because there's a guard who can now create contact with Williams. Williams, quite frankly, got manhandled a little bit on this play, which is just not something you want to see, especially when you're going up against the center. And now he'll easily be able to run over and block the jet who is trying to swing over. To me, this is the definition of a rookie mistake right here. You see Williams, and he's saying, okay, I got to get this center over to the left side of the screen, but then he gets too far over because he doesn't quite realize how strong some of these NFL guys are. He's able to easily push him just out of the way and get over to get in position, whereas in college, when Williams makes that type of play, there's no way that center is going to be strong enough to push him over. So he got caught a little bit flat-footed. It's a rookie mistake for sure, nothing I'm going to freak out about, but definitely a mistake and should be brought up. I also thought this play was another one that would fall under the rookie mistake category. What's going to happen is that he's going to get double teamed right here, so okay, chances are he won't be able to do too much on this play, but what's also unique here is that it's going to be a blitz, so the player behind him is going to be blitzing. It looks like his idea is he's going to try to go right through that gap right there in between the center and the right guard. That's what he wants to do, and so you would think that there would be some sort of communication. Williams would kind of know where the pressure should be coming from, so he can try to open up that hole, make things easier for his teammate. But if you look, there isn't. I mean, he moves over to the right side of the screen, he's kind of just doing his own thing, but now his teammate who's trying to blitz was trying to run through that hole, but now kind of can't because there's not as much room there. He instead tries to get over, but at that point, Cincinnati's able to pick up the blitz, and then Andy Dalton is actually able to get outside the pocket and throw the ball away when they almost had a sure sack right there had Williams known what his teammate was doing. Just the communication. I'm not sure whose fault that is, but that is something that you would like to see just Williams and the Jets improve on in the future. It's obviously one of those tough situations because you can't just shout out to the guy who's blitzing, hey, which gap are you going to be blitzing through? But, you can have code words to figure that out. You can just sort of know, and also just playing together with a unit, you can sort of pick up on those things. So, hopefully in the future, Williams will sort of get on the same page. They'll get the communication up because football, at the end of the day, it's a game of communication. So that is something that they will have to work on in the future. And one more thing that I did notice, this is something I said actually when he was getting drafted that worried me about him going into the NFL, was his ability to basically, or his inability to not allow himself to get moved on double teams. That's something that he really struggled with in college, I thought, and it's something he has continued to struggle with in the NFL. Like on this play, he is going to get double teamed right here. That's what's going to happen. And take a look what happens right when this ball is snapped. Honestly, this is hardly much of a double team whatsoever. The left guard is quickly moving up to block a linebacker. He's honestly not even too concerned about Williams, which does kind of say something, I think. Teams didn't really fear Williams, at least not in his rookie season. That's just the reality of the situation. That's what was on tape. But also, if you look at Williams, notice how far bent over he is, mostly to the right side of the screen. He's expecting there to be pressure from the guard, so he's trying to make sure that he sort of gets over there, doesn't allow himself to get moved. But again, this is a little bit of him underestimating who he's going up against. You notice that Cincinnati player's center is going to kind of get his right arm just underneath like that, and he's just going to twist and push. And notice how badly he's able to get Williams out of the way, just completely pushes him out of the way, and that's just a kind of thing that you were hoping Williams wouldn't have a problem with. But then again, he is still a rookie. He'll pick up on those things. He'll sort of realize, okay, I have a talented player going up against me. I have to first make sure I can beat him before I worry about a double team. These plays are not necessarily that great, but the bright side is it looks like a decent amount of his poor plays were just from mental mistakes, which I think is good. I think that's what you want to see when you have a poor play. It be because of mental, not because of a physical thing. You can always teach somebody where to put their hands. It's a lot more difficult to teach somebody just to be stronger. I mean, you can do what you can, but it only works so much. And I did think he had flashes of very good plays, which again, that's kind of what I look for in a rookie. It's sometimes less about just how good are you and more so about what did you just do well? What were your positives as a rookie? Because if you have select positives, well, that usually means that as you get older, you'll do a lot more of those positives and a lot less of the negatives. So like on this play, he has a one-on-one matchup right here with a left guard, and take a look at what happens right when this ball is snapped. So first things first, notice how his right arm is going to get underneath the left arm of the player he's going up against. And this is very interesting, I think, because now it means that if you're an offensive lineman, you can't use one of your hands to grab on, which is obviously a huge disadvantage. And also, if you notice how wide his legs are right now, this is going to give him great leverage and great strength. So then what he can do is kind of get his right arm and go under like that and kind of grab his chest in a sense. So what does this do? Well, I mean, for one thing, you have a really tight grip right now, so you're very close. So what can you do if you're this tight as you are right now? Well, you can do a swim move. If you can pull it off, if you have the footwork to pull it off, this can absolutely be a great time for a swim move, and it's what Williams is going to do. And watch how successful he is at pulling that off. I mean, that was a great move right there. That's something that makes you say, oh, okay, I see. That's why they spent the third overall pick on him, because he can pull off something like that. I mean, just showing that play right there, if I showed you just that one play, you'd think he's a Pro Bowler, because that's such a difficult thing to pull off, and he did it effortlessly. Not just a swim move in general, obviously you can, but just the way that step by step everything was executed perfectly, that's very promising in my opinion. And there was also one more play I really liked from him, and it was this one where he's going up one-on-one against a center, which is obviously a good matchup for him, and what he's going to do is basically just get his left arm and try to get it right there, which makes some sense. I mean, if you're a center, obviously the hand that you're snapping the ball with, it's going to be more difficult to try to get that one in position, so he's going to try to take advantage of that. And after the ball is snapped, he gets the positioning that he wants. He has his left arm right there on the shoulder pad, And look at how far bent over he is, too. I mean, it's like he's ready to push a wall right here. And that's kind of what it looks like, too. Look at how he just pushes that center backwards. That's just, again, that's a great play. It doesn't result in a sack, but not every great play does, especially when you're on the inside, when it's more difficult to get to the quarterback. But if he can continue to make plays like that, without a doubt that he will get to the quarterback more frequently, and he already is, I would say, an above-average run stopper at this point in his career. So there's absolutely things he does very well already. I think his talent is clearly still there. His potential is still there. If I was just grading his rookie season, I'd honestly probably give it like a C, maybe, because I thought that there was a lot that there were just certain mental mistakes I didn't love from him. But if I'm just grading his overall potential, it's still an A+. I mean, the potential is still there. This is honestly what I expected him to do his rookie season, was show some flashes, also show some disappointing plays, but more than anything, get better, and that's what I think he's doing. He's unfortunately got huge shoes to fill. You know, this was a really deep draft, I think, in a lot of ways, so with all the talent that was selected in the first round, especially the two guys that were selected before him, and don't forget, I mean, there were mock drafts putting him first overall. There absolutely were, so there's a lot of, people that really think that he's going to be something great, and I'm one of them. I think he's going to be great. I don't think he's there yet, but I think he will get there. He's shown enough for me. But that's just what I think. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.